Want to take transit from Virginia to Maryland? For many years, there was only one bus that ran directly between these two states. All other transit trips had to go through Washington, D.C. In September of 2024, a long-awaited second bus between Virginia and Maryland finally started running, the Fairfax Connector 798 Express between Tysons and Bethesda. This is a crucial transit connection, but is the current bus service any good?
Step back. Doors open.
Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new Trains Are Awesome video. I'm Tom. I'm standing at Tysons Station in Fairfax County, Virginia, formerly known as Tysons Corner Station. This opened 10 years ago in 2014. So I'm here at Tysons, but I actually want to get to Bethesda in Maryland. Now, I'm kind of in the wrong place for that. So I guess I have to make my way over to Bethesda. Now, I'm not the first person to do this. Thousands of people every day travel between the Virginia suburbs and the Maryland suburbs around Washington, D.C. But here's the thing. To make that trip with public transportation, your only option is to take the metro into downtown Washington, D.C. and then back out to Maryland. Well, that used to be the case at least. But since Monday, September 16th of 2024, you can now take a direct bus between Tysons and Bethesda. But it's not operated by Metro. This bus is the new 798 operated by Fairfax Connector. Let's go find the stop. The 798 is not on any of these maps yet, so I'm having a little bit of trouble figuring out where it's gonna leave from. It doesn't originate here at the station, it originates at West Tysons, so I'm not gonna have a lot of time to figure it out. Hopefully it's one of these. I just asked the driver of that other bus and he said he thought he saw one here, so we're gonna hope for the best. You know what's funny is this video exists in a larger context. So earlier this year, I made a video about the NH2, which for a very long time was the only transit that you could take to get from Virginia to Maryland without stopping in Washington, D.C. It was the only one, and that was the title of the video. Well, I have to change that title now because we finally have a Tysons to Bethesda bus. But also last week, I made a video about the Ride-On Extra Pink and Lime routes, which started running about a week ago. And so for a week, they were the newest buses in the DC, Maryland, Virginia region. But now the 798 has broken that record too. So it's a big deal. And then the waiting game began. I had planned to get here on time, but the bus did not. And I also had to make sure I had enough fare on my Smart Trip card, because while a regular Fairfax Connector bus costs $225 to ride, this bus costs $480 because it uses an express fare. But when the bus did show up, there was a fun surprise. It was one of Fairfax Connector's new battery electric buses. Finally made it on the 798. The fun part is this is an electric bus. This is my second time riding the Fairfax electric bus. One thing that I think is good is the drivers always ask to make sure you're going to Bethesda because it is a new route. So the 798 started running on Monday, September 16th of 2024. And I have to say I was a little bit surprised when this route was announced. Like I said earlier, the transit connections between Maryland and Virginia have been really poor. In fact, up until the 798 started running, the NH2 between Alexandria and National Harbor was the only form of public transport that could take you from Virginia to Maryland without stopping in Washington, D.C. first. And WMATA, the agency that runs the Metro Rail and Metro Bus, has talked about maybe adding a Tysons to Bethesda route in the future, but I guess Fairfax Connector was working on it, and they seem to be the ones that are running it instead. Now, this connection is about 7 miles long, and it has a very weird schedule. The 798 only runs on weekdays during rush hours, so that's from about 6 to 9 in the morning and from about 3:30 to 6:30 in the afternoon, kind of depending on the direction. But what's especially interesting is that they don't run the same way depending on the time of day. In the mornings, the Maryland-bound buses serve Medical Center Station on their way to Bethesda, while the Virginia-bound buses serve the Montgomery Mall. However, in the afternoon, it's the Virginia-bound buses that stop at Medical Center and the Maryland-bound buses that stop at the Montgomery Mall. I have no idea why service is this limited or unnecessarily confusing, but that's far from my only complaint about this bus. I mentioned that it costs more than a regular bus. It costs $4.80, which is Fairfax Connector's express bus fare. Seems fair at first, since this bus takes the Capitol Beltway for most of its journey. However, traffic on the Beltway is exceptionally slow. The bus that I'm on right now is scheduled to take 1 hour and 10 minutes. An hour and 10 minutes to do 7 miles. And I'll tell you right now, we went way over that. In total, this journey took 1 hour and 25 minutes because of how bad traffic was on the Beltway. Now, I'm not necessarily blaming the transit agency for that, but you can't just run a bus on a highway that's already congested and expect the bus to be fast. Really, this didn't feel like a great alternative to the metro, and I'm really glad that I had an electric bus because 1 hour and 25 minutes listening to a bus engine is pretty rough. You guys know me, I don't like to complain so much, but if we're going to celebrate a new bus service that the region has been needing for a really long time, I was hoping that it would be better than this. Anyway, we're in Montgomery County right now, and it was not lost on me that it is pretty cool to be on a Fairfax Connector bus, a Virginian bus in Maryland, surrounded by Maryland buses. It's kind of cool, and I'd much rather be on this electric bus than in that electric whatever it is.
Tysons, Route 798.
Of course, Bethesda Station has a nice covered bus station, good for rainy days like this. But of course, the 798 doesn't stop there. No, it stops at a street corner 5 minutes away from the metro entrance. Let's try to stay positive. It was fun to be on a Virginian bus in Maryland. It's not good. It's confusing where to go. It's extremely slow. It is actually faster to take the metro into DC and then up to Bethesda by a lot. I mean, that took 1 hour and 25 minutes. And honestly, I don't love that I paid $4.80 for an express bus with an average speed of less than 5 miles an hour. Now, I'm not saying all of this to be negative. Like, this connection between Tysons and Bethesda is a good thing, and I'm surprised it didn't exist yet. But the way it's being carried out, it needs a lot of improvement. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome. Thank you so much for watching today. We'll see you next time.